Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody? Feel like I'm getting a little bit of audio feedback here. How's that? I think that's a little better. What about now? Anybody hearing me? Are you guys hearing anything? What if I do this? Are you guys able to hear? Yeah? Okay. Okay, I think I got it figured out. How about now? Are we good? I hope so. Sorry for the yes with feedback. Yeah, I've got feedback over here too, and I don't understand. I've tried turning off speakers, I've tried doing a lot of things, and I'm still getting a lot of feedback. I don't fully understand why. Better now? Okay. When you say better, are we saying good or you have any feedback at all? Echo. Yeah, I'm hearing echo on my side as well, and I don't know. I can hear it through my mic though, and I don't get that. This is frustrating, guys, so I apologize. Let's try that one. No, still getting it. Still getting the feedback. But at least we can hear you. Yeah, I know. At least you can hear me. But that feedback is terrible. I don't. I don't know if anybody in the chat is good with doing this kind of thing and can maybe help out, but right now I can't get any sort of now I'm hearing music, which is great, but I don't know that's what I want. So I think we're going to go without music today, maybe. But either way, I still have this crazy amount of feedback, but I don't know why. Is that better? Are you guys able to hear me? All right. I think we're going to go without music today. I can't stand that. I think I fixed the feedback issue now. So I apologize. Thanks for hanging out for streaming now for almost 20 minutes working audio stuff. And I apologize, team. We're going to get started. So everybody in the chat, all 5 of you, just give me a quick thumbs up if you can hear what I'm saying. As long as you can hear me, we can continue. All right, Rob. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. All right, team. Another Sunday, we're going to get started on part 2 of the box turtle build. I'll have to go back and edit this video to remove probably. Look at that angle. I know, right, zombie? I'm playing with some stuff, trying to figure it out a little bit. What do you think about this desk mat? This came from what's his name? I forget his name right now. But 3D Print SOS. This guy sells these desk mats, and it's a bunch of hot ends. So I thought that was pretty cool. We use that for dressing up the desk a little bit. Zombie, you came at a good time, man. We just fixed all the audio feedback. I was having some crazy feedback, and I don't understand what was going on. So we're going to go sans music today. But you have a matching mug. I saw the mug. I don't drink coffee like that. I might drink coffee 2-3 times a year when I'm traveling through the airport or something like that. It seems to be the thing to do. And so I'll grab some coffee. But generally, I don't. But now that we got the audio going, we're going to get started. I'm all set up to do things over here. We've got warm soldering irons, warm heat insert tools, and so we'll be good to go. Cup of tea, lip reading, thirsty work. Yeah. I love that you razz me in the chat. It's my favorite. Like legit, it's my favorite. But cool. We're going to go over to the Chrome and we'll see what we see. And of course, you can't see that either. So we'll make a little change. There we go. Yeah, your job. That's right. That's why you're here. All right. So this is what we're going to do. And so before we get started, we have already love the 3D desk mat. Yeah, same. It churches up the desk instead of just having a black background. I think last week we used a silicone mat and it worked okay to hold small pieces and parts, but we still do have a parts tray holding all that stuff. So what I've done, I've already gone through and added all these heat inserts. Let's change this to be what it actually will be. Okay, so I've gone through, I put all these heat inserts in. There are 4 of these that you have to build, and each one takes 6 heat inserts. So I put those in yesterday, preparing for today. Desk pads are great as work surfaces. Yeah, I agree. They provide a little cushion, I suppose, but they don't keep things from rolling away. That's the downside. So if these had a lip on it, I think that would help a little more. I would love to see someone with a desk mat that had, I don't know, some pockets in it, kind of like one of those silicone ones that we use for soldering and other things. I think that'd be pretty unique. Yeah, these are very nice docks. We were talking about that last week. I love that you can rotate and see everything that you need to see. You can zoom in if you need, and then you can pan and tilt as needed. to get to where you want to be. Cool, so I've done that part, and then this is where we are right now. So I went ahead and soldered together the end stops. I do need to put the JSTs on the end, but I have done the end stops. And then I need some, I have trays, Liz. I have trays. I've got a couple, I have 4 trays actually, and a few buckets as well. There are, they're just out of frame here above my head on the shelf. Oh, wow, we have Zombie here. Thanks for pressuring me to put up the rep rack last week. I learned very quickly I probably need, oh man, maybe 4 more of those with the amount of filament that I have. Those wire rack shelves that you can get pretty much anywhere at any big box store. That's what I'm using right now for a lot of the filament. And it's hanging out and it's working, but I'd rather have it in plain sight so that I can see what's going on. So we're going to do this step here, and then I need to add some JST connections on the back. So we can do that sort of thing. That way we have the correct photo for what I need to do. But it's nice to see. Yeah, it is nice to see. They don't hold much. The ones that I bought were 8 feet long, the piping. And at my old place, I was able to have the 8-foot pipe with no problem. And that seemed to work. But at the new place, the wall that I have it mounted to is not 8 feet long. And so I had to cut it in half. And so I have 2 4-foot sections now. I'm going to put that second 4-foot section above the one that's here. And then I need to basically replicate that across the way. But cool. This is what we're going to do right now. So I'll give you back your live stream. Yeah, Zombie does a great job on Twitch. Zombie, you're another one that I appreciate. I think I was talking about Digital Dragon last week about how he doesn't do a lot of the things that float on screen with a bunch of alerts and sounds and visual things going on the screen. For me, it's distracting, and I appreciate that you do not do that. That makes it a little easier to digest. All right, so I need to find those tiny bearings that I was using last week. And so I have everything down here on the floor. That's why I'm going out of frame. I just don't have an extra table or anything to be able to go to. And so I end up, oh, look, it's a killer. Hey, Van, good to see you. I think we chatted a little bit yesterday on, who was that? I think it's Buddy. Is that how you say Buddy or Booty? I'm not sure. But when she was streaming on Print Talk After Dark yesterday, we were going back and forth a bit. Yeah, so this is the funny part. The very small bearings that I had to be able to do this, I am not sure what I did with those. But I'm definitely going to need to find them if we're going to get started today. I swear that I had them on the parts tray. So here's the parts tray, Liz, that you were asking about. I've got about 4 of these. I was talking to Steve last week about how I don't want to do a whole bunch of them, like basically a new one for every build, because then I would have all these parts trays and they would just stay with parts in it. Non-traditional Twitch streaming. Yeah, absolutely. I really don't know what I did with those small bearings. That's going to be a pain. Wonder if I left them in the parts box, and I don't see it there, and I don't see it anywhere. Oh, is that it? No. Oh yeah, it's in there. Turns out you have to use your eyes if you want to find what you need. Let's just dump that out. Let's save that for later. All right, there they are. That's what we were looking for. You stream D&D? That's cool, man. So at work, we got a group of guys that do D&D and they tend to get a little crazy with it. They'll do D&D every day at lunch, 5 days a week. And we'll do about an hour and a half, 2-hour lunch most days. I don't. I have to actually do work, but they seem to have the time in the schedule to be able to do that. Some print talk admin love. Thanks, man. I could take all the love that you can give. That'd be great. So just like the manual says, small bearing inside, and then end stop inside. I think I need to put these wires down through the hole. And lost the bearing at the same time, so be careful with that one. All right, so bearing down inside. Somehow I bent these the wrong way. But then end stop goes in like so. Pretty simple. I'm going to try to push those down a little bit so that they are below the point where they would interfere with that top portion. Mormon printer people? I'm not sure what that means, Clown Hammer. Mormon printer people. So we put that in, and then I think up next they have us doing the drive gear. Morning. Got it. Morning printer people. I was like, man, I live in California. What do you mean? Sweet. So they did give us a bunch of these BMG gear sets. And I had a lot of these anyway, but now I guess I have more. So we'll just use one. Normally I don't like a lot of different plastic bags. I think it's pretty wasteful. Hello, Mitsubishi. Thanks, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Merman. Yeah, merman would be great. Mer people, I guess, today. Yeah, so normally I don't like a lot of these plastic bags. It's pretty wasteful, pollutes the planet and all that. But having things separated out into basically sections to build each extruder is pretty helpful. So we'll go over here. And this is what we're doing right now. So we're going to build this extruder. And that bearing's already on there. Came that way. So bearing came already installed. Next we have gear with the tooth side towards the plastic. And then another bearing on top of that. Okay. Good to note that the drive gear is the one that has the set screw in it. That's the one that goes on. And the set screw is separate on the set screw is separate on this one. So you want to make sure that you have the one with the hole on there, not the one that is without the hole. The one without the hole would be the idler, and this is the one that keeps it set on the relief in the gear. So it's important. And then I need to do a little Loctite on this one as well. So I like this stick. I like the Loctite stick. Which one do you guys like? This one seems to work with me. The liquid stuff gets messy, and I know that if you get Loctite on ABS, it doesn't work as well. It can tend to break down the ABS and make things brittle and destroy your parts. So I like the stick. It's a little more controllable. Put a little Loctite on there, and then I'm going to insert that just till it doesn't fall off. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to, so that doesn't fall off of there. Let's turn this camera just a touch. Get you guys back in the center of the frame here. There you go. So I just want to make sure that doesn't fall off of there. And it won't. Love my desk mat. 3D HP Jerry, I got this from 3D Print SOS. I want to say his name is Igor. Correct me in the chat, but Igor is the one that sells these. So the way I found it is I went through his YouTube channel. He's got a link to his store, and then they have these. I was checking out Zombie's YouTube channel. I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at your joggers that you have on there. I have a lot of T-shirts, a couple of sweatshirts, but I don't have joggers. So kudos to Zombie for being different. Sweet. So we did all that. And then I'll put my bearing on top just to be sure. And then we're definitely going to have to adjust this later. Yep. So that portion will go inside of there. And then we'll put the cap on. And then we'll use a small piece of filament to make sure that the gears are aligned, I guess. And then we'll set that set screw to make sure that things mesh well. And then we'll add in these ECAS 04 with the bumpers removed and move on to the rest. All right, we can do that. You wear them a lot? Got the whole tracksuit. That's great. I might have to get a tracksuit now because of that. Fedor, thank you, not Igor. Fedor, you're right, Fedor. All right, so we have the assembly. This goes inside of there, and it turns out that the way that it's assembled straight from the go, it's pretty much aligned as it is. I don't know that I'm going to have to adjust very much at all, but we'll see. Top and bottom are keyed, so they only go one way. It's a nice touch. And then the manual had us use, just making sure, M3 by 8s. M3 by 8s holding it together. That's where our parts tray comes into play. I think I'm gonna get rid of this guy right now because I'm not soldering anything. And make sure you close your stick. I've had this stick to my shirt, and then I had a blue dot that stained my shirt after that. So in 3x8s, we got a tray full of those. That's too small. Use my KB3D driver here. Need a lot of M3? Yes. I think they sent like 100 or so in the kit. It didn't tell me the number of or quantity of things that they sent. That it was just a large bag. So I assume it was 100. It looks like 100. I recovered all the ones out of the trays that we built last week. And that's what I wanted to talk about too, is I had to go through and reprint basically everything. These parts that I printed 2 months ago worked okay to get the frame assembled, but I did have to rebuild the entire thing off stream yesterday. I did not print new skirts, but I think I will probably this week print new skirts. Only because the ones that I did make were not the best quality. I could do better than that. And I just went with it a while ago when the build was still in beta. And now that new skirts are out and they print a little easier, print a little better, I think I will stick with that. Cool, so we have that all put together. Filament looks pretty aligned. Let's see if we can snag a piece. Let's see. I know I got filament around here somewhere. That's kind of the point of the show. Let's see, I think this ABS will work just fine. All right, so I got a piece of gold ABS here. Gang, gang. Yeah, Fedor, thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, I love the desk mat, dude. And here's the thing. If you guys haven't ordered anything from 3D Print SOS, he did something that I never seen anybody else do. He sent me a personal video saying thanks for buying from his store. I thought that was a really nice touch, man. So thanks for being you and going the extra mile to make sure that your customers are taken care of, dude. That was really cool. It's not what I expected, and I almost thought it was, hey, buy more stuff for me, which I don't mind. But when I opened the link that you sent, it was, hey, thanks for, and you used my name and order and all that. So nice touch, man. I really like that. Cool. So that's moving perfectly fine through there. You can see it spinning. So that's what we need. His videos are legit. Yeah, I watch a lot of Fedor's videos. It's difficult for me to catch the live streams, but I will go back often and watch some of the builds and some of the live stream stuff. The reviews are pretty good. So yeah, Fedor is a resource that I watch a lot. So that's basically one extruder going there. I think the next portion talks about going to, so we've done that. We got to do the inserts next. So we'll do the inserts next. And I think there was a tool for the hub to insert these into the hub. I went ahead and removed the rubber off the end of this. So this one, if you could see that, that's what it looks like when you remove the rubber piece that's on there. And then I'll show you one that does not have it removed. And you'll notice that it is, let's see, it is much longer. It's a much longer piece. And so it won't fit in there if you don't take that in portion off. Yep, listen for the click when inserting the filament. I think I heard it. I hope I heard it. Let's try it one more time to be sure. I'll be quiet for a second. Can you hear that on stream? It is definitely clicking. But that's a good point, Boothie. That's a good reminder for those that come after and catch this stream a little bit later. All right, so that's that portion. And then we're going to add these inside of the holes. Oh, that fits much easier than the hub did. The hub was very difficult. So I'm glad that they put a tool on there so that you could use a hammer to get the fittings into the hub. And these are tight, but I can do it by hand, which is great. You need to build one? Well, Fedor, if you need to build one, we're going to build one here. Hopefully there's some tips and useful things that we talk about that will help you. So far, so good. I had to reprint everything, though. I don't know what portion of the stream you jumped in. We had to rebuild basically everything to be able to print these because I had parts that were probably 2.5 months out of date. And it's still kind of a living project, and we needed to make sure that we had the updated parts or the manual did not line up. So what I did to prep was look ahead and compare and contrast the parts I had with the parts that they were showing in the manual. And I realized pretty quickly that basically everything except for the skirts needed to be reprinted. I even reprinted new trays. So the trays that we installed last week, I had to go back and redo those. Very easy build. Yeah, I agree. Not difficult at all. Going back to the manual. We've done that portion. I have already taken the support off. They were on very good to where they just wouldn't fall off, but they were not bonded like we struggled with on stream last time with the corners for the frame. If you've ever built a printer, you're probably used to using geared idlers like this. So this is no real change from what we do most of the time. I do have the idler here. So I do have the idler here. I'm going to add some grease to it, I think. Going through that, a bit of that with the Motion Micron tool changer updates. I'll be honest, I didn't know that there was a Micron project for a tool changer. You'll have to share in the chat what that means. and then what the project is called. I know if Zombie's still on, tool changer is his catnip. So you say that word and that just pricks his ears up. I mean, is the Micron tool changer just like a big tool changer, but using, what's it called? The ant head or the, oh geez, what is it? The, what's the small tool head that Chirpy made? My words are not working today. Built one, if not the first Micron changers. Yeah, I saw it last year. I didn't realize it was a Micron though, or maybe I missed it. I know you had your big tool changer out there. I stopped by and talked to you about that one briefly before this other guy came up and started talking to me about random stuff and completely stole my attention. But I think you were pretty swamped at the time too. I don't know that I noticed your, not Yaboth. It's based on that one. Oh geez, it's the normal one. Dragon Burner. Sorry, Dragon Burner. You had the little one. Okay, I saw the big one, and I think that kind of stole my attention. But yeah, not Yaboth. Although I am using that one on another small printer that I have kind of back in the corner over there. I picked it up at Reno Vice, and I feel a little bad. I haven't used it at all. I kind of brought it home and put it down, and I didn't really do anything with it yet. I need to do panels on it and then just kind of plug it in and see if I can work on some of the firmware. Ant head seems great for tool changers. Yeah, I agree. I would like to put ant head on my Micron, and I will. But that Micron is going to be a little bit of a project, and because we're on Box Turtle right now, this is all I'm focused on, trying to do one thing at a time versus 7 things at a time and getting none of them done. And I'm really bad about that. All right, so we've got the idler in the arm. So it should go that way. So gearing at the top, if I were laying it this way, so with the holes to the right, then I want the gears on the top like that, according to the manual. 40 minutes late. Well, 3D Wolf here, I'll tell you, you missed all of the problems at the first 20 minutes of the stream. We had some serious issues getting audio to go. That's why there's no music today. Music, I don't know what happened, but it was coming through speakers and it was creating feedback and all these other things. So we killed that, and at least you guys can hear me now. So I'll try to fill the dead air with talking. So the more that we communicate, the better it's going to go. So I appreciate you guys. Ant head is the same size as a dragon burner, plus it's too fiddly to be used on a tool changer. I think, Rob, I think those words will probably make somebody take on the challenge and figure it out. Or at least I hope that's true. The ant head looks pretty cool. It looks like a mini Reaper. If you're familiar with the Reaper tool head, which is for the bigger borons. If you're familiar with that, then that's what it looks like to me. So these are M3x30s. And they just kind of go through as the pivot for the arm. It's a very simple setup. Turns out you have to use the right tool though. So this guy. So I'm gonna snug that down, but I don't want it too snug to where that can't rotate at all. So maybe just a little bit of drag, like kind of how it is right now. I can feel it, can't really hear it or tell on stream, but feeling that, just a little bit of drag is what I like. That way the door doesn't just flop open, but if I do that, it will. So that's how I like to install my stuff. Come on, magnet. Love these little tools from KB3D. When you buy stuff from them, it'll usually come with one of these or maybe a pen. And it's got a magnet on the back, which is great for picking things up. But it also does stick to everything when you have it on the desk. You need to build one. Zombie, you should build 5 and put them on your black box. And then that way you can have, 20 different colors that you can print with. Chris does have nice tools, and this is one of them. I think I had like 6 or 7 of these at one point. I had to get rid of some because it didn't make sense. Right, and then if I remember right, we put the thumb screw through here, so that goes on. It goes like so. And I guess it goes in the center. Yeah, looking at the manual really quick, it does go in the center. You built one to consider it? You built one, what, a black box? I would love to build a black box. It costs as much as an XL. And that's preventative for a lot of people. Like if you already have heartburn about having to, or not having to, because you don't have to do anything, but if you have heartburn that the XL costs so much, the black box is roughly similar in cost, but it's also DIY. I think it's a little bit smaller. Zombie, you would know. I think you probably don't have an XL, but you do have a black box, and I want to say they are smaller build area. I think the XL is like a 350 by 350, and the black box is a touch smaller than that. I think it's a 300. Tools, the good old topic. Still have a lot to stock up on. Budget just throwing some errors. Yeah, gotcha. Potential future compatibility with Stealth Changer in the future. Yeah, I know that you can put the ant head on larger machines. I think there is a, what is it, a carriage that you could use. All right, so we have the tensioner, and what is this other hole for? Dr. Dave has a video setting anti-squish. We'll go back to that later. Gears should have good bite into the filament. They do. I was just running through that a second ago. Make sure everything is adjusted properly for smooth operation. I mean, I guess. Like I feel like that's what we had already though. Good luck with the build. Got to snow blow the driveway. Oh, dude, have fun. Go get that exercise. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I mean that's got good bite to me. I can move that as I'm pushing through. That feels like it has good bite to me, so I'm just gonna stick with what I have right now. Something gray or color like cyan. Okay. Let's see. Speaking of which, since I might do some streams of electronic assembly or general small part assembly, considering a matte to what below, rather bright or dark. Game over. 3D Wolf, I think maybe something a little lighter would work. I know that my desk right now looks a little busy. You've got this orange thing going on over here, tray, you've got parts laid all out. So maybe something like a wooden desktop would be great. Boothie would tell you that a cardboard box is better than what it is. This is a mouse pad, or I guess it's more of a desk mat, because it's larger than a mouse. All right, so coming back to what we have, looks like there is 2 M3x8s and a washer and a motor. And then we still have to put the JST on this guy. So I have my 2 8s here. One has a washer. These guys. So we have the washer, and then we have, this seems to just go through the hole into a motor. So I'll grab a motor, and this other one just kind of goes through that hole there. See, I got motors over here. These motors are a little different. You have a dark black wooden desk with a slight rough surface. You mean natural? Yeah, so I mean natural wood or something that is not reflective. My desk is pretty reflective. I think it's got like a laminate here, so you can see there's a shine here. So this laminate makes the camera go a little bit crazy. So I think that's right. I think most of the streamers that I can remember have sort of like either a wooden desk or something that is not black, but also not shiny white. And again, that's really going to depend on your camera setup. My cameras are not the best. These are webcams that I'm using up here. Like the hot end desk mat, you can thank Fedor for that one. He's the designer, builder, and seller for these desk mats. I liked it, so I bought one. Plus, it helps him out. And so if we can help the community, that's good with me. What I don't know is where the wires are supposed to come out on this thing. So I want to make sure we get that right. Looks like they come out the top towards the screw. So the wires come out the top of this way. Really reflective, just since dark, it sucks it up. Yeah, same. Use the cheap webcam and a bright LED light. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. So overhead, if the lighting looks better this week, it's because I installed some garage lighting overhead that are 10,000 lumen, 5500K shop lights. So I have one above my head, and then I have one over there near the print rack where I have all my printers. And specifically because there is no lighting over there, and it's very dark. So if I drop anything over there, or I'm trying to clean a machine or work on a machine, service it or anything, it does not work out well for me. And I needed light. I've been saying that since we moved here. I finally got around to doing it this weekend. And just another example of how streaming every Sunday makes me do the things that I should have been doing all along and just really haven't. So I know that these should just like have barely any kind of slack in there if they're anything like, if these are anything like building a stealth burner or any of the other backlash NEMA 36 type extruders. I know that there needs just to be a tiny amount of slop. It's kind of hard to set it on this because I can't really get in there. But I think we can move. I think we can move these drive gears through this hole. And I want to make sure that we have enough. I don't want that too tight. Don't want to keep me from building though. No, dude, this is what we're here for. We're here to chat. So keep asking questions. Keep talking. Watching somebody build something with no dialogue is boring AF. Hey JPP, welcome in. We're building the first extruder here. And I think that's set right. So we'll snug that down. Cool. That's almost one of them. That is almost one of them. We got to do 4 of these. Yep, so I think I need to add the JST connections on the bottom of this, and then we should be good to go to move on to the next one. So I am going to do that. I know from what I remember, at least, my black wire is the wire that goes to where the pin on the end stop would be, and the red is the flat side. So based on the diagram that we have, this is the pin, the pin goes down to the end stop over here. And let's see, here are my JSTs. Still better topics than yours. I mean, you just got to find your niche. If you want to put that pellet extruder on something and you want to stream that and talk about that, you should do it. That's different. I don't know that I've seen anybody live stream a pellet extruder build before. So if that's your catnip, you should do that. All right, so we've already said black wire goes to the left of a 3-pin JST. I don't know about you, but I cannot get these out of these small containers. And I know I'm going to need 4, so we'll just do that. Then I like to separate the metal parts from the long strip. So they normally come on strips. I don't have any handy, but they normally come on strips, and they're just hard to store. They don't come off easily, but I just tend to break them all off and put them in the box that way. We'll just do a small, probably like 2 or 3 millimeter of the insulation, and then use our handy dandy crimpers to put these on. I'm actually going to grab a chair. When I'm doing wiring, I like to be down towards the desk just because I can see what I'm doing a lot better and I don't drop stuff. I don't know how many things I've dropped while trying to build. So being down like this helps me out. I think that's true when you're building. So if I'm building with this off the desk like this and I'm trying to screw stuff in and do whatever, it's going to drop, hit this, bounce, go on the floor, and it's going to be lost. So if you can, try to build down close to the desk. That way it doesn't bounce away and get lost when you drop stuff, and you will drop stuff. So I have this pin that came with the extruder kit. I don't know where it goes or if I even need it. I think this is just a generic BMG kit, and this was part of the pivot for the idler arm. I don't think I'm going to need it for this, but we'll save it for something. Maybe we'll use it in the future. Now, when I'm crimping, the way that I like to do it is I like to use the biggest pocket, the one that's all the way down on the tool. It's a spare. Yeah, it's a spare. The one that's all the way down on the tool. That way I just get a good insulation crimp first, and that'll hold the wire for the second crimp. That should be a little bit smaller. So I do it like that, and that came out kind of ugly. And then if you need to go down one, like I'm doing right now, you can go down one to make it so it'll fit it in the housing. That did not turn out well, but it's on there. And then I'll use that same to crimp the wire itself. So you end up with a crimp like that. And then I'll just make sure that the end of it is good to fit inside like that. And we'll do that 8 more times or 7 more times. There's some interesting stuff going on with the pellet stuff. Like what, JPP? I'm not super into pellet stuff. It's requires a large volume. So you need basically a container and then a way to get those pellets to the extruder itself. And then once that happens, you have to make sure that you can melt the pellets quick enough to print at whatever speed you're printing. So while it's great for industrial use or large multi-day type prints, I think you need a large machine, and most people don't have that. Shrimp Father, you made it. Thanks for showing up, dude. Okay, we'll just double check, well, I guess triple check here that our wires are correct. So the black wire goes to the pin side of the end stop, and that should go to the left side of the JST. So we'll do it that way. And then the red should go in the middle. Let's do a little tug test. And honestly, I like to twist these. I don't know if it's going to stay this way, but I do like to twist these somewhat to help out with cable management and the like. And you could do this with a drill, but these are silicone wires, so they're not going to stay really kind of that way. But if I twist them a little bit, it should be okay. And then red goes in the center. So that's an example of like me not crimping that the insulation side of the metal a second time. It didn't really want to go in there, so I had to use a tool to kind of push it the rest of the way in. But you do want to make sure that they are all the way in there, and the little pin that pops up to keep it installed is installed. So just tug on that loosely, and you should get what you need. Sweet. So there we go. That's how we did it. So we have the black on the outside, red in the middle. And that's on the opposite side of the retaining clip. So flat side of the JST. And that's one. Now we'll do another one. So we'll build the short one next. This is the 200 millimeter wire that I made last week. So it's already got the crimp on the end, as it should. Again, black wire to the outside, red wire to the center. And so because we already have that, we can start with building number 2 extruder. That's crazy. We've already been going an hour. It doesn't feel that way, but I think too the first little bit took us away from what we needed to do. Just in general from the title. Oh, the little you've seen. No expert. Yeah, I don't know how many experts are out there for a pellet type extruder. I mean, they're interesting. I think if you have the use case and you have the space for a machine that large, you should absolutely look into making that, especially if you're making very large parts. It does make sense. I would love to see one in person. Maybe I'll get to go to Rapid TCT at one point, but not today. All right, these wires go down through the hole, and then you put your in stop in its place. And I guess it just kind of sits in there. I don't see any kind of retaining clip or anything that would hold it in there. I was wondering that on the first one, but I think just from tension and the angle that it's installed, it's not going to move. That's that. And we forgot to put the bearing in there. Rookie mistake. We would have got it done and then I've been like, it's not clicking. I don't understand. At least as much as possible in those few minutes you had every day. The way to get them is currently gravity feeding. Yeah, gravity feeding. But I heard, and I don't know this for sure, again, I'm not a pellet guy. I heard, though, that you need some sort of vibration to keep them moving, or else you end up with an extruder that doesn't extrude. So I don't know if you guys have seen the Dr. D-Flow video. He's the only pellet extruder person I've seen on the internet that had built something like that. And he was having some issues with trying to get stuff to feed. I want to say it was related to having to add vibration or something, or some kind of stirrer to the whatever the hopper would be called. And once he figured that out, it started to print fine. But other than him, I don't know of another person to point you to. All right, so if I remember right, don't need the long pin, so we'll put that over there. we're going to do, so it's a bearing on the end. It's already on there. We'll do gear with the hole, thusly with the gear part towards the plastic. And then we do another bearing on the end, just like so, like that. All right. Next is a little bit of Loctite on your set screw. This is an interesting part. On the first one, I didn't have to adjust the gear up or down. I don't know that I had the room to do that anyway. It just seemed to be perfect from the start. So shout out to the team for making parts that just kind of work without a whole bunch of adjustment. But that is something that you do not want coming out. So once you get it set where it needs to be, yeah, once that thing is set where it needs to be, you don't want it coming off. That'll make your brain hurt when you try to figure out why your extruder's not extruding. You worked in plastics factory in the 90s. The hoppers had a stir mechanism. It also helped mix in the dye pellets. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know how they do it now. That was, the 90s were 35 years ago. So maybe they figured out a better way. I really don't know. But I imagine a stir mechanism is how they do it. We do some 8s like before. So what's everybody doing today? I know you're here watching the stream. Probably catching Steve after this. It's always a highlight of the Sunday. What about the rest of the day? I know that I spent time yesterday hanging out with my daughters. We took them out for Valentine's Day this weekend, or I did, because next weekend the wife and I are going solo to do stuff. So it's a benefit of being a girl dad is you get to have 2 Valentine's Days almost every year. Football game? I don't know what you're talking about. What football game? Doing chores. Doing chores, making desk mats. Fedor, while you're still here, I didn't realize you were still here. Have you put this design on anything other than a desk mat and a coffee mug? Like I'm thinking pajama pants. I'm thinking hats. I'm sure you're thinking big like that too. You watch the game for the commercials? Rob, you can catch the commercials without watching the game if you really wanted to do that. I don't want to discourage anybody from consuming the American pastime. But I think a lot of the commercials you can already kind of watch on YouTube. Well, that desk mat has some grease on it now. Get a napkin. Should probably be doing that the whole time anyway. Hot in pajamas. Yeah. Hot in pajamas. It is Valentine's Day, man. Maybe we can get like hot end tube tops or something for the ladies. Or what do they call those? String shirts, spaghetti string top, something like that. All right, we need another idler arm. And that goes that way, which means this goes this way. I like that goes right in. I think I expected a snap, but I don't need one. I think it holds in there just fine and spins just fine the way it is. We do need to adjust, make sure that this gear is correct. So we'll do that really quickly. So using our piece of gold filament from before, just want to make sure that gear is lined up. And I think somehow I missed putting that on a flat because it was not, but we got it now. Okay, so that is where it needs to be. Right on the filament, we'll give her a little bit of a tighten. Just started getting into watching Banana Ball. Yeah, so Banana Ball, yeah, that's pretty funny. The Savannah Bananas. If you guys haven't seen that on Instagram and whatnot, Banana Ball is like it's baseball but funny, kind of like Harlem Globetrotters, but for baseball. So they probably do things that are not within the rules of a normal baseball game. But it's funny. It's entertaining. It's more of a show with some baseball included. But if you can see it live, I think it would be a pretty good time. I've never seen it live. I would like to. My hometown is about an hour from Savannah, and I don't think it was a thing when I was growing up there, but now that I've moved away, if I get a chance to go home again, I think I might drive that hour to go see the Savannah Bananas. Tried to explain to the missus, she didn't know who the Globetrotters were. She marry a youngin? Is she too young to understand what the Globetrotters are? Maybe she knows the N1 basketball team. That's kind of the same thing. It's like street ball. It's not regulation basketball. Yeah, dude, the Globetrotters even had their own cartoon once upon a time. So they were a big deal back in the late 80s and early 90s. I remember watching their stuff. Country lady, not up on pop culture. All right. Believe it or not, my wife was born in Arkansas, but she is not country. Born in Arkansas, moved to basically where we are now here near LA. Moved out here when she was, I think, 1 or 2, and just spent the rest of her life out here. So she's pretty much a California girl. But her parents still live in Arkansas, and I wouldn't call them too much country either. Well, it turns out I did not install all of the blue whatcha-who's-its inside of these things. I didn't know that we were going to be using this many so quickly. Remember that episode? The Scooby-Doo episode? Yes, Scooby-Doo episode with the Harlem Globetrotters. I also remember that. I think I'm going to need pliers to do this. And Boothie, if you're still on stream, I don't know what I did with my Knipex, my parallel jaw pliers. So we're going to get a little brutal, and for that I apologize. But I used it to work on the car to do something simple a while ago, and I brought all my tools back in except for my Knipex, and I don't know what I did with them. And I was very sad. But a little persuasion for these inserts. There we go. I think that's probably a benefit of the LDO kit as well. I know I've seen some questions about that over the week where, hey, what's the benefit of getting the LDO kit versus the kit that you got? And I would say that the part I'm doing right now is probably already done for you. So again, time saver. The little extra rubber piece is probably removed. The blue part is probably already inserted. Especially the wiring would be great to have that done already. Ugh. There we go. All right, extruder number 2 almost done. We're just racking up the tools. You got told off for doing that? You did. I did tell you off for doing that. However, like I explained, I messed up, and this is an example of do what I say, not what I do. Motor. Yeah, I didn't want to. Really don't have a choice. My little hands could not put those blue things inside of the coupler. And there we have IT for everyone not understanding why tools are needed in double amount. That's the reason. Yeah, I usually live by the life motto of 2 is 1, 1 is none. But in this case, Knipex pliers are expensive. They were like $50 for a pair. And so $100 just to have insurance. When I do have other tools, I just, they may not be the absolute perfect correct tool. And in this case, we just need to move forward. So just trying to set the backlash on this extruder here. What I'm doing is I'm just using the tool to move the gear to see if I can feel the backlash and how much we're able to move that. I think that's pretty good right there. And of course, we can adjust that later if things aren't working as they should. Let's see if I can turn that. Maybe loosen this a touch. So I can't get that to go through. Oh, you know why? I think I put it in upside down. ECAS fittings assembled an LDO kit, but still with the rubber washer. All right, that's good to know. I mean, the rubber washer part is easy. Putting that blue thing in there, not easy. And I just made my first mistake on this. The idler is upside down. So I got to take that out and flip it over. It's kind of the challenge when you're building stuff and still trying to talk at the same time. You end up not paying as close of attention as you normally would. So keep an eye out for that. If you're happen to do one of these, easy fix though. Just need a tool to push that down. Let's try this. And that. Okay. Looks like we did it. Yep, there we go. Hey, Lee Marie, thanks. Just getting here. What have you missed? Well, we have built one extruder. This is extruder number 2. And it's just about done. We're just making sure that things align properly and can be moved like they should be. And I'm having a hard time with this guy. So I basically put this in backwards and had to flip it around. That's kind of where you joined, Jeremy. But we got it now. We got it now. I think that's probably a little too tight. Loosen that up. Make sure that we can move this filament back and forth. I don't know why, but this one is just not wanting to work like it should. Support my boy today. I appreciate you. We're about halfway done with the extruders. And I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but it does not want to feed. So when I put this filament in, it seems to fit in and be aligned as it should be, but there's like binding or something on the gear, and so it's not moving. Tell you that as soon as you left yesterday, Brett came through. You did say that. I didn't go back and watch your stream again yet. I didn't go back and catch the parts that I missed, but I do know that. I do know that. I don't know. I believe you. Clean out with a drill. No. So Booty, it'll go through. So it goes all the way through, right? It'll go all the way through. That's not the issue. The issue is that the gear on the inside, the large 50 tooth, seems that it's bound and it's not spinning. I don't know why. I've loosened the motor all the way up to where it's away from the gear, and then when I go back to the gear, again, it's not tight, but it feels very. I guess it's moving now, but at the time it was feeling very notchy, and I didn't understand why. So I think maybe I just had it a little bit too snug, and now it seems like it's fine. Yeah, so there it goes. I think maybe I just needed to redo it, and now it works. Now it works just fine. Jeremy, I don't know if you're telling me the truth. I think I already said that, but I don't know that you're telling the truth here. Yeah, that feels good. Ground a little bit of the filament, playing around with it, but that is extruder number 2. Extruder number 2. I've been going about an hour and a half. I only want to go for 3 hours today. So we're going to take the 2 extruders that we have, and we're going to move on to finishing them with the spoolers. So the wheel portions of these. That way, at least you can see where we are and how to do that up close. And while I'm cleaning up the desk, I know a few people in the chat have already built their box turtle. Are they working for you guys? Have you had issues? If so, what are they? I'd like to be prepared for whatever it is that may come. And then if you have tips on how you solved whatever those issues were, it'd be great to know ahead of time. Yeah, so we still have 2 extruders to build. I'll do those off stream. If you've seen one, actually, if you've seen 2, you kind of get what it is. Still building yours, Rob? What color scheme did you go with, and where did you get your kit? As you guys know, if you were here last week, we got this one from AliExpress, and it's not a full kit. It's just hardware only. No AFC light board. But it did, and also no wiring harness, but it did come with a length of wire to be able to use. So we have one long extruder and then one short one. I have the other 2 hanging on the wall over here. Just need to build those. We'll do that later. Going over to part 3, I believe, of this box turtle build. So we finished out 2 of these already, and they seem to be working. So we'll go to the next section, which should be the spooler. Check the fit of the bearings on the 80 mil shaft. All right, this is where we're going to go off script a little bit. I'm building something that looks like this, but not exactly this. So my process is going to be a little bit different. Boothy's in the chat, so he's going to help us guide through it, but it is pretty straightforward. So if I need help, I'm counting on him to help us out. But we do have these parts. So what are these called? The frame left and right have not changed. They are stock portions of the build. And I got to find what I did with them. All right, so we have parts here. All right, we have parts here in the bin. These are the wheels. These are modded wheels. So these have holes in the center that you can use to put M3 by 60 screws, and that's going to go through an axle shaft. So we're not using the 80 millimeter rods. These are going to add a little more rigidity to it, and I don't have to worry about set screws and whatnot. These are courtesy of Boothie Builds. He is in the chat. So we'll do that, and then you have a portion here that'll be covered up with a small cap that'll go over that, and so you won't even see that and be a very nice, clean build. If you know anything about Boothie, he does like to have wires managed and parts looking aesthetically pleasing, and he does a good job with that. So these are his mod, and I ended up printing a bunch of those. So we'll do 2 sets, and then I need left and right frames. So again, reprinted these. There's a left and a right, and a left and a right. So we got those, and then we have our center pieces right there. All right. Smooth stinger transition. I didn't do it. That is help from Streamlabs. So they make things easy, but I do appreciate it. We have the pseudo Stream Deck up here, my Z Fold. So this is my Samsung Z Fold, and I use it just like a Stream Deck would, so I can just go between things as needed to be able to see. So saves me a lot of money. It's something I already have, and now I don't need a Stream Deck, especially using this wirelessly. It's been great. Printing the spooler frames in clear PETG at the moment, 6.5 hours per print. Really? Spooler frames. Is that these? You're printing these? All my parts are ABS. This is the last bit of black ABS I had. So I think last week I was talking about how I used Zyltech 5 kilo spool. And I had it for a while. I printed all my box turtle parts with it. I printed all of my, what is that? All of my Trident all-wheel drive parts with it. And in the middle of reprinting my box turtle trays for the second time, it ran out. So I got 2 trays printed in black, and then I started printing the third set. I had a fail, and then I had a run out, and then I couldn't restart. So I have 2 trays in black now, and then had to use white for the other 2 trays. So we have sort of an Oreo theme going on with this one, but it does match the Trident aesthetic. I will reprint these, and maybe the end caps there. Maybe I'll reprint those as well, but we'll get there. Wanted to see the gears? Think Bamboo AMS. Boothie, I went off script a little bit on that one too. I got the gears here. I chose to print my gears out of solid TPU so that they're a little bit quieter. I don't know if that's going to work well or not. We're going to have to try it out and see. And if they become a problem, I'll reprint in ABS or PETG or something else that you recommend. But I did want to go off script. That is not my idea. That came from building a Python AMS where they recommend you print the drive gears in TPU to make it a little quieter. And because the AMS is pretty loud, printing those in TPU kind of came to my mind after I built my Python. All right, so we got enough parts here. Oh, see the gears through the frame. Got you. That would be cool. Are you able to print PETG that clear so that you can see the gears? If you use Stefan's trick, where you print really hot and really slow, and you print solid, and you do not alternate the direction. So normally, slicers will print at 45 degrees to each other, so you end up with an X, which can obscure the transparency of it. But if you print all layers with the layer lines going in the same direction, it tends to be a lot more clear. That's a trick that I use for making lenses when you have LEDs and stuff. That's what I did for the lenses on this build as well. All right, so we did that. We have removed all of the support. And I forgot to do these heat sets yesterday. So apologies, but we're going to do a couple of heat sets. So we need, what, 5 per frame? And we'll do that. Let's see. Got the irons already hot. Just unloose it from all of the tangle of wires over here. Bring back the metal tray. Move the arms. Oh, last week, I forgot. Last week we were talking about how I never really print fun things. Well, I did print these for Valentine's Day. So it's a bolt, right? A bolt and a nut for Valentine's Day. So I think the wife's going to get a kick out of that. But they actually do thread together. So these do go together. And you get a bolt and nut. I thought that was too funny not to happen. So I do print things other than printer parts. And I just heard the bamboo finished as well. So those parts are done. I was printing things for my daughter's school. They do Valentine's Day exchange. And she asked me to print things for her. I got a set over here. And these are what we printed for her class so that she could give these away. But they're just little articulated heart guys. We made these from Polymaker Silk PLA, just red silk. And I got to make 24. So I think the last one just finished. The last set just finished. I was doing 8 at a time on the tray. So we'll grab those and start the next one. You guys bear with me just for a second. This is them off the printer. So just printed 8 at a time. And those came out great. So we'll just run that off one more time and we should be done. She needed 24. There are, what, 18? Sorry, yeah, 18 in her class. And then my older daughter needed 6 for whatever reason, probably just to give to her friends. But 8 of those took about 4 hours. So I started this when I got up this morning, and they worked out just fine. So what do you guys print for Valentine's Day? Do you make your spouses anything? If you have kids, do you make your kids anything? I'm looking for something to make for them. I make them something for almost every holiday. Christmas, Easter, St. Patty's Day. We do 4th of July. I don't do anything for Memorial Day or Veterans Day because I feel those are more somber type holidays. But for Valentine's Day, I usually make them stuff. Christmas, definitely. Thanksgiving, definitely. We make them things. But I don't know that I will do that for some of these other holidays. So if you guys have ideas on what I can make, I think Easter is next, or St. Patty's Day is next. You just saw those on things and was debating. Yeah, so I just got them off things. The nut and bolt, I got them off things, and it works out. They were pretty cool. I'll give you a hint. So the bottom of the bolt didn't come out too great. It still threads together, but this is such a steep overhang that I would either slow it down or add some. This is just regular PLA. I would slow it down or maybe add some support there. That is asking a lot for that overhang. And then under the butt, where the butt would be on that side, I would add a little support too. It seemed to mess up a little bit there. And so if you're going to make it, that's what I would say. Sorry, guys, I'm just over here trying to change out the filament on this bamboo. It's about run out. So I had a little bit left over from printing a bunch of Christmas stuff of this silk PLA. A little bit left over of this silk PLA. And there's maybe, I don't know, was probably like 25 grams left on that spool. So we had to swap it out. But cool. On to heat sets. So I remember one at the bottom here. And those built-in supports worked pretty well. And I like to just press on the cold plate to make sure that that heat set lays in there flush with the surface. And I think that's it on that one. And we got one on this side at the bottom. Again, press that on the cold plate. Yeah, I noticed that Ambrosia from West 3D, they have like an Easter rainbow type matte filament. I was trying to get some of that, but I think it might have been sold out when I looked last. I don't know. It might have been the Stardust. Yeah, it was the Stardust that was sold out in the ASA. I was gonna get some of that and do a build with it. Maybe I'll like redo my positron and Stardust ASA, but it is sold out. Jeremy, if you're still in the chat, can you ask Kilo when they are gonna bring back Stardust? Let's see, where am I putting this side? All right. Totally should have did this yesterday. Again, yesterday was kind of a day out, so I took about 5 hours hanging out with the girls, doing stuff. We ended up going to my daughter's favorite place, and that is to eat Chinese food, and it was okay. I like Chinese food, but this particular place is just average. But it made her happy. They got ice cream, and they were fine. She also likes to go to the bookstore, so we went to the bookstore. And the funniest thing, so my daughter is into manga or manga, however you want to say it. She's into that stuff, and every time we go to the bookstore, she tries to complete the collection of manga that she's building. And she ended up getting 4 books. And I'm like, great, I love that you want to spend your money on books. Reading is something that kids don't do a lot of these days, it seems like. And if I don't have to pressure her to read and it's something that she wants to do on her own, I am 100% on board with that. But my younger daughter, my 6-year-old, she decided she wanted a Barbie, of course. So she goes and gets this Barbie, and she brings it up. And she's like, "Dad, can I have this one?" And I pick this thing up, and it's a handicap Barbie. And there's nothing wrong with a handicap Barbie, but it's not the sort of thing that you would expect a little girl to pick up. Yeah, look at the table. Yeah, you would not expect a little girl to get a handicap Barbie. But right next to the handicap Barbie was a Down syndrome Barbie. And again, it's great that we are including something for everybody. A doll that every little girl can relate to, no matter what they are or what challenges they might have. But it struck me as funny that she would choose the handicap Barbie for the one that she was going to get. And so when we get it home, and my wife thought it was me that asked her to get this thing. I was like, no, she totally chose that on her own. I had nothing to do with it. But for a solid 20 minutes, I was getting the blame for doing nothing. Like, it totally was not me. Totally not me. Okay. Hey, Lego Therapy. Sorry if I didn't welcome you into the stream. Good to see you like always. How was the run this morning? How far did you get? 8 miles? 7.5 miles? I think this goes that way. Yeah, there we go. So that's how it's going to go eventually. So that's that. Okay, so we did all the heat sets. Again, I don't know that I need this part, so I'm going to skip that for now unless Boothie cries foul. I do have that helper tool, and that's going to help me put these in there. So because I need the tool, that tells me I might have to put some force into it. So we'll be judicious with that one. And then what are these magnets? 6x3 magnets. This is the part that always gets me. I see the red and I see the blue, and I know that means north and south, but I can never remember which is which. I don't know if red is north or red is south. And then I know that they need to be opposing. So what I normally just do is I'll just connect them together and then push them together to make a match. So I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but that's how I do it. Sweaty 8.3. It's lovely Florida weather. I would not call that lovely. I am not a fan of anything you guys have going on down there. All right, so that's that way. We have this fitting needs to go in the bottom. And it says use the desk to press it in. So we'll do that. So Lego Therapy, you like the desk mat? I've had this a couple weeks. I didn't use it last week because I needed, I thought I was good with the way that I had it, but the camera was going crazy. It didn't have anything to focus on. It saw black on black or blue on blue. And so every time I moved away, the camera would go nuts. And realized I had this around, threw it back out. It seems to be handling it a little better, although it does kind of lead me to believe it's, I don't know, appears cluttered, which is not the goal. So in progress, we'll see if I stick with this or try something else. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I feel like I definitely need a better camera. I've been saying that a couple weeks now. I'm looking around trying to find something on, I don't know, Marketplace or something used somewhere, but no luck. We are kind of out in the middle of nowhere a little bit. So it's not always easy to find used items like that. But I did see some on Amazon that were about $100. They say they can do 1080p 4K. So I'm eyeing that, but I would really like to see more reviews. So I'm going to see what I can find. Those cameras only were like $100, which I feel good about. Some of the other stuff that was recommended, while very good recommendations, are a little bit outside the budget at $400 and $500, which are not what I want to do for a stream that is supposed to be fun. I'd rather take that and just put that back into the hobby as a new printer or some other item that I would need. This one just does not want to go. We may have to get the hammer out. And for that, I would probably mute you all so that I don't blow out your eardrums. But let's see. One more. There we go. All right. That was a pain. Thanks for the tool. Still difficult. I can imagine how hard that would be without a tool. Yeah, that hurt the hand. Anyway, good tool. Camera would definitely be a great investment. Please tell me what you will go with. I'm kind of looking to. So I know if Jeremy's still in the chat, Lee Marie 3D, he said something about a Sony EZV-10, I think it was. And he said that one works for him. Looking at new cameras too. So yeah, so 3D Wolf, link up with Lego Therapy too. He also streams. His camera seems to be better than what I have right now, but I don't know what he used. So Lego Therapy, if you can, drop that in there. Let us know what you use for a camera. Maybe 3D Wolf can get helped out. right, so we got to do magnets on these guys. I did see that 4 or 5 hours ago, Box Turtle team released an update for this trigger arm. There are now thumb buttons on here, but I don't know if those are built by the team or if those are Boothie's thumb buttons. But I used Boothie's thumb buttons when I printed my parts, especially since I'm using his spoolers. So my thumb buttons are a little bit different, or I'm sorry, my triggers are a little bit different. I did have the old set without the arm on it. So this is what is in the manual. This is what was on the repo, I don't know, 2 days ago. But the ones that I printed and the ones I plan to use have this little bit of a detail on there. And you can see how that's different from the original one that does not have the detail. So you have a little bit of a, I don't know, helper to be able to push on that. So I'm going to use this set. And like I said, the Box Turtle team uploaded these, or a version of this, very similar at least, on their Git, not only 4 to 6 hours ago. So if you are looking for something like that, you can get them from their thing. We need to do magnets, and I know that magnets came in the kit. I know that because they kept sticking to literally everything that I tried to do. So we got these. Look at that. So we'll do a magnet in the front. And I want to say I had to use super glue according to the manual. Just a little bit of glue in there. But it doesn't tell me that. It says if it's loose, do it. If not, you don't have to worry about it. So I suppose glue is optional. I think it's good insurance. So even if it is a snug fit and it's going to stay, I would still like to do that. Logitech Brio 4K. Yeah, it looks like a 4K camera, and I probably should do that, especially for this camera. The face cam I think is fine. I don't use it that often. We can do it like this. And the face cam I think is fine. It's just a face cam. It doesn't really matter. You guys aren't here to look at my face. You're here to see what we're building. So I'll tend to not use it as much, but it's an option. I'll look into the Brio. I was hoping to get more of a pro cam so that I can use a what is it, an HDMI? I do have an HDMI output on the Surface with the dock. So if I can use that, I think it'd be great for quality and speed and all that, and hopefully no lags. But if you recommend a Brio and I can find one of those, then I may go that route. All right, I tried to use a little bit of super glue and a lot came out. I don't know what to do about that other than to try and remove some. Just do a little bit of paper towel. I don't think you need a lot, and I definitely don't want that gluing the other magnet to itself. That would be bad news. So I like to do it that way, and then I'll press it in to where it needs to be using that, and we'll just slide it off. You can see how much glue, it left the glue mark. So be careful the amount of glue. Let's wipe that up. Not tried the thumb trigger with the stock lens assembly before. Should be okay. I will check. Thanks, man. This is my first time as well. This is the build, the first build. So what I like to do is I'll stick them all on there, and this prevents me from messing up the whole north-south. I'll just stick them on there and remove the stack, leaving one behind, like so. Leaving one behind, and then I'll use my trigger to line that up and just kind of slide it off and hopefully not drop it across the room like that. Oh, man. So I did put glue in there. It's good to go. It came out a little bit. So again, this Gorilla Glue is not as controlled. It's supposed to be a gel. supposed to be a gel, but it's not very jelly right now. It could be because it's so cold in here. Just want to remove a lot of that. Okay. So that looks like it is glued where it should be. And if I remember right, there's supposed to be a bearing and an M3 by 10 screw. So we'll do that in the arm here. So I tried to shake this up. I just don't have a warmer or anything out here. I probably should have left this in the house overnight. And again, learning lessons as we go. Probably not going to be a problem here in about a month when it starts to warm up. But in the mornings, it is pretty chilly out here. All right, so this, and then we have the M3 by 10, which is here. And then we're adding another bearing. So another small bearing. Got it. So the bearing goes in the center of this, and then the screw goes through to hold it in place, like so. And it looks like it threads into plastic. 73. It was, I think that was the high for last week for like a single day. It's been maybe, I think our high lately has been about 65, and that's been great. But it's been really windy. And when it's windy and 65, the wind chill makes it feel very cold. So I'm just tightening that down to where I can still spin this thing. I don't want to crush that bearing down so it doesn't move. I think that's pretty important. I don't want to crack plastic, so we're just going to snug. And then this is what you end up with. So bearing in the center, M10 screw going through the side, threads in the plastic. So don't over tighten. You could mess up the threads and have to reprint the part. So just till it's snug, and then back off just a little bit to keep things going. So we've done one, and we have that nice snap of the magnet. So that's good to go. We'll put that aside. We'll build another over here with a magnet and bearing. So again, we'll go back with our super fluid glue, and hopefully just a little bit, but every time it just wants to come flowing out of here. Gorilla Glue, I'm gonna need you guys to do better, because that is a lot. Use the edge to push it down, flush, and then wipe off the excess. All right, second trigger right here. And just like before, I'm gonna put those magnets on, leaving one behind. A little bit of glue on the trigger. And that time just a little bit. And now use the two parts coming together to be able to put that where it needs to be. Final time using the plate to get that even and level. There we go. Just like that. Keep shaking that because I'm trying to mix it up. But it's supposed to be gel. I don't know that it's doing a great job at being gel right now. All right, another bearing, another M10 screw. Don't forget to hit the like button. You're right. Like button, subscribe. All the YouTuber words. Lego Therapy, what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? Anything special? I know you guys are on the beach, so maybe there's some beach stuff you guys are doing. I know it's only 73, which is not cold, but it's not really beach weather. I live in the desert, so it's beach everywhere year round. Trigger should just fit behind the lens, but quite near. Send you a pic on Discord. Okay, I appreciate it. I think it'll work. I was looking at the CAD yesterday morning, and I didn't see anything that looked like it would interfere. I could be wrong, but we'll find out together. I can hear my daughter beating on the door over there. She wants to come and hang out so bad. But she's very loud, and she likes to play with tools and do what I'm doing. And that tends to get in the way and make for a not great stream, because then I don't find parts I need because she's put it somewhere, or she's moved it somewhere. All right, so next step looks like small bearings in the trigger, and then 2 more into the sides. It's kind of weird. I wonder if those are just there to capture or used as a stop. It's a nice detail. Okay, so we'll do what? 3x8s into the trigger with a bearing. They're hinged for the trigger. Okay. So I'm gonna pour out 2 more bearings. I don't know. To have 4 lanes, I feel like I'm running out of bearings. So if each lane takes 1, 2, 3, I need well, I guess, yeah, I have exactly enough. It just looked like there was not very many. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out 3D Wolf and his channel, he's trying to get started as well. So if you can give him some love and some support, that'd be great. Again, that's why we're here, to help each other out. He streamed last week a new, I don't know if it's a prototype 3D Wolf or not, but you streamed a pellet extruder, and we got to take a first look at that. So thanks for sharing. All right, so bearing on top, bearing there, filament goes in, and that's a pretty neat little setup. And then I know we use these trigger stops in the side, thanks to Boothie explaining that. And I'm trying to stay mindful that the parts I have printed are different than the manual. So I'm trying to be careful and think ahead a little bit as we're going, that maybe some of these parts don't exactly work together, and which ones may be different. So like right now, when I screw this in, I feel like these screws touch each other. I think it's supposed to be that way, but one is all the way in, one is a little out. So I'm gonna try to just make them even. Take a few turns off of one side, add a few turns to the other. That way they press against one another and they're even. And so here we go. Something like that. Those are about even, sticking out both sides. They do touch in the center. So I don't know if they need to be 6s. Boothie, maybe you can help us out here. Maybe they need to be 6s and the head of the screw is flush on the part. Right now I have about maybe 1 millimeter, maybe a 1/2 mil. They're in too much. They need to stick out more than that. Okay, I'm gonna check the manual real quick. Okay, I see. Yeah, it turns out you have to read the entire manual. It says leave about 3.5 millimeters of space between the trigger body and the screw head. Thank you, sir. So I'll back these out a little bit and get the tool here. I don't know about you guys, but I need to be pretty accurate on this stuff. So we'll try to use my third hand to make sure that we got 3.5 mil sticking out. And there's 2. Boothie, why does it stick out so much? I know that you said they are out like stops, but I feel like there's only a couple of threads left in there when it is out 3.5 mil. So maybe these should be 10s and 3x8. I see, yeah, I see your comment there. I just feel like maybe there's not enough thread in the plastic, especially if you're using these as like bumpers or stops. Uh, I wonder if there's like force. I don't know how much force, but force that makes these potentially maybe, I don't want to say brittle, that's not the right word, but makes them get enough torque to where they pull out of the plastic. Have you seen that happen? Because for real, it only feels like there's just a few. And what I'm not clear on is that to the bottom of the screw head or to the top of the screw head? You didn't measure, you installed and adjusted? That's a good idea, Rob. In your trigger, you're using heat sets. Okay, I printed your triggers, but I'm not seeing heat sets on it. I didn't see a place where I could add heat sets. So unless you updated the part, um, since the CAD that we shared uh, last week, I don't know that I leave 3.5 millimeters as the space between the trigger body and the screw head. Is that the top of the head or the bottom of the head? That's what I'm not clear on. I think heat sets would make sense here, Boothie. I don't have those parts. I can reprint them if you want after stream, but I don't have those parts. And these don't feel super secure in there. I'll say it that way. So we may end up doing that over after stream. Just want to keep these together to make sure the magnets are okay. The aperture is 4.7 for a heat set. Yes, tracking. These do not have that though. I don't know if I just printed. Oh, okay. I do see that. I apologize. I do see that. That explains a lot. Thank you, sir. I do have the correct parts. I just did not put heat sets in here, and I need to. So we'll knock that out real quick. This iron's still hot. Show you the trigger. Yeah, so I see it now. There is a recess here that can take, this can take the part. That could take the heat set. I know it's a little blurry, so I'm trying to get this thing to focus here. I could put a heat set in there, so I'm going to do that. That's not a you thing, that's a me thing. It didn't look like it could, but again, I'm talking and trying to work at the same time and didn't notice. So we're going to add those in and then make sure they're flush. No hardware in the CAD. No, I see. This is the thing, man. It's a side project. It is meant for someone that kind of has done this before and knows a little bit about a little bit. It's not meant for a newbie. And if there's no hardware in there, it's so close to the box turtle manual that I think it's fine. I just didn't realize that there was supposed to be heat sets there. It does make sense now, though. This is why we're doing this, and why the next one should probably be a not so boxy turtle build, so that we can actually document that when people start building your version, that they have something to go off of. Yeah, I agree. I think heat sets are a better choice. If we can avoid into plastic holes all the time, that's what I would prefer. I know that some of these parts are not able to do that, like the white portion here. That's not going to be able to have a heat cert in there. There's just not enough meat on the part. But for something like this, yes, absolutely. So thanks for looking at that and making that a reality. All right. Just try to move some stuff out of the way. Excuse me while I get a little something to drink here. Oh yeah, Booty's here, JPP. He is the creator of the not so boxy box turtle. So if you have interest in building one, he should be able to answer your questions. He answers a lot of mine, I'll tell you. We've been talking about that project for a while. And then when he released it, I was like, dude, I need to build that one. I do really like the aesthetic of it. I like that it's not so boxy, to use his phrase, not so boxy. So if you have a machine that's, I don't know how to say it, like more smooth with rounded edges, more curves, if you like curves, uh, Booty's version of this project offers that. And if you hate curves, then I would say just build the original. But there's that one, and we need to put these screws back in the side. Oh, that's so much better. This is why I'm a Booty fan and a Booty supporter. The guy cares about the assembly process and the way that things look and how things should be. And he takes his time to consider a lot of that. And even if a project is already done, I don't know that he can leave well enough alone. He will always go back and improve the quality of life, printability, et cetera, on a project. And so we talk about those kinds of things a lot in the background. All right, there are 2 triggers built so far. And we did the thing. I'm not going to measure these. I'm just going to adjust, like Rob said. We'll assemble and then we'll adjust later. Again, I'm not doing these rods, so I don't need to do this part. I'm going to skip that. Skipping that one. I do need to do this. So we'll put the gears onto the motors. Is there a certain way that these things should be? Let's see. Align the D cutout with the motor shaft and push until the gear reaches the face of the jig. Okay. Ensure your wires are the correct length. Wires? Oh, do we have to solder wires on here too? I was not tracking that. 205, 315, 415, and 515. All right, I was not tracking that, and I do not have enough wire in the kit to do that. So we may have to come back around. Yeah, I didn't know that we had to put wires on here. Please ensure that there are no debris from the manufacturing process in the gearbox. You may want to flush it with IPA or similar. Okay, did not do that. And then we jump right into, what is this? NeoPixels? I know for sure that I need to print these lenses out of PETG. The ones that I printed before were for an older model, and I did not get back to doing that yet. So I have to do that. I'll have to put these wires on all of the different LEDs. So it seems like a lot of work that is probably outside the scope of this stream. We may do one. All right, and then we install that into the motor mount. We had to cover, put some bearings in here, and then start the assembly. Left and right, put the gear in, cover on. Okay. So go back a few steps, and we will start with this portion because we're not doing this. We're going to use Booty's wheels. And his wheels are, yeah, not so boxy is, so Rob, not so boxy is Steve, aka Booty Builds. He's in the chat. It is his, I guess remix is the right word, of the Box Turtle project. You can find it on Discord. He did a build log on the Box Turtle channel, or I'm sorry, server, that you can go and find and follow along. He dropped the CAD in there. There are parts in there, photos, all the stuff, and a few others in the Discord have built the not so boxy turtle as well. And so I think there are a few examples out there. It's not like super public, but you can definitely find it on the GitHub if you want to build one. Yeah. Cool. So I need to solder wires. Here's the thing. This is all of the wiring that I have left to do 4 of those small motors. This is probably only maybe a meter of wire left. So they definitely did not give enough in the kit to do this. So I have about a meter of that, and then about, I don't know, maybe 2 meters of the yellow. And if I need 4 small motors, totaling about, I don't know, 1.5 meters of wire each, this is not enough. But we have some wire on the shelf, and I'll grab that. These are the motors we need to work on. And there are 5 in here. So we'll get to that eventually. These are the wheels, and for the sake of time, I think I just want to do some of the wheels, and we'll get that built. All right, JPP, see you, bud. Thanks for swinging by the stream this week. We'll be here again next week pressing on with the rest. I'm going to try to be a little more proactive on getting stuff done. Hey, Low Sync, no problem. Snow clearance is important. I live in the desert, and we do not get snow. So I'm just shoveling tumbleweeds off the porch from time to time. Like legit, it's so windy out here that we will go to bed, wake up in the morning, try to go outside, and there's nothing but a pile of tumbleweeds in front of the door to where you can't open the door. So now you have to go out the side door, move all the tumbleweeds just so that you can go out the front door. And it's crazy. Insert the nylock nuts into the wheels first. Okay. This is where I'm hoping that Boothie can chime in with what's going on. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put the screw through. I'm going to put this through, and then I'm going to pull that nut into place. It's down in there. I can't get my fingers in there, so I guess I could push it into place with the same screw if I didn't want to pull it. So let's do it backwards here. Yeah, so I just got that on the ends. I'm going to press that down in there, and that's pretty simple. That went right in. All right. Like I said, we're going to do 2 of these. So there's one set. They only gave me 4 nylock nuts, though. I think I'm going to have to get more. I have more in the drawer here. Can be easier just to clear the hole with a 3mm drill. Backlash, not an issue on these. Yep, understand. I ran a drill bit by hand through there. I don't know that it was enough. I failed to notice that I had support on, and it filled the pocket with support, so I had to spend some time yesterday clearing that out. I know that it was designed without the need for support. That was, again, my screw up. I had it turned on. Okay, so that's in there, and then I think, trying to remember, probably later in the dock here. Am I able to skip all of this and just go to the wheels and build the wheels? I know that it wants me to pause and do these LEDs and stuff, but again, I don't have the wire length immediately for that. All right, I think this is where I'm at. So I've already done this, and it just has me put these on the shaft, and then that's it. I know that I'm not ready to do that right now because I have to. So it has you building the axle. I've got the axle here. I need to. I guess I'm trying to understand how this axle goes together. I don't have the CAD in front of me, and I probably should have reviewed that, but I want to say these go together. Let's switch back to the scene. Insert the bearing into the frame. Yep, will do. But I want to say these two pieces, these small axles, they go together. Is that right? We'll see what you have to say about that. But here's the thing: these are the bearings that I was sent, and I know that I need 4 of those. They don't fly away. 1 axle, 1 gear set. Okay. All right, there's that. These go in here. And let's make sure those are flush. Yeah, I don't know that I printed that very well. I probably had the heat too high. All right, so those are going in. What am I building? Bob, we are building something called a box turtle. It's a multi-material filament changer for a 3D printer. So this model will accept 4 spools of filament. You can add it to any clipper-based 3D printer. And then with a little bit of code, you can print 4 colors on your printer, whereas before, it could only print 1. So this is an add-on to be able to do that. Okay, we have the bearings in the frames, and you said it's only 1 axle and 1 gear. All right, so I got this, and I got the gear, and then I have the small gear. What do I do with these? What do I do with these? I know that everything has a, let's see, I think this goes in this way. So maybe I need to put the screws in next. That way I have an axle to go off of. So that goes like that. And then I want to say that goes that way. Try to cheat and look at the CAD here. It's not clear to me exactly how this goes without looking at the CAD. I should have put it in on-shape so I could see, but I did not. Hey, Stone 3D. Getting that turtle right set up. I am this time, yeah. It's been a little bit of a challenge. I had to redo everything that we did on last stream because I had outdated parts. So I spent all week reprinting everything to be able to accept the correct parts. Yeah, I did not clear these holes out enough to be able to just push the thing. Dropbox, link, image above. Yep. So, Booty, I have it. I just didn't. So I don't have Fusion on the computer that I have right now. And so if I go there, it I don't know what's happening. Yeah, it just keeps wanting to take me to YouTube when I try to open your link. So let's see. I know that I have it downloaded anyway on my own Dropbox. So if I can open that and then maybe upload that to Onshape. But then I'd have to log in and all this stuff. This is starting to get a little bit crazy. So we'll do that. And then we can upload it here. I'm intentionally not showing my screen because I had to log in and whatever. Let's see. Can import files. All right, so just trying to navigate over to what is it? The not so boxy Voxel CAD, and I think I have it in here. Pretty sure I do. Yeah, it's the Fusion file. And I hope that Onshape can take that. It seems like it's uploading it. Yeah, share my screen with you all. Just relinked image in Discord. Oh, it's a JPEG, not a CAD. Okay. Thank you. I'll jump on that here in a second. I want to see if we can view the whole thing. Sure, I guess. No, so it's not going to take a Fusion file. That's unfortunate. Okay, we'll check out your Discord picture. Just self-sourced. It kind of is, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of self-sourced. This is a hardware kit though, so not fully self-sourced. All right, so I'm getting your photo now. That kind of makes sense to me, but also kind of not. It's it's really hard to see how it goes together. Um, let's see. I'm looking at your link too. Okay, I got you. All right. So coming back in to the desk. All right, so this is what I understand. This small rod, looks like our stream is frozen a little bit. Let's see. Okay, we're frozen on the main camera right now. I don't understand why that's a thing, but we'll see if we can fix it. I've never had this before. That's different. It's frozen. See if we can turn it off and turn it back on. Usually helps. It's just all kind of problems today. All right, turned it off. Let's see if we can turn it back on. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Lego therapy. Turn it off, turn it back on. Yeah, same brain. I mean, we've been doing this long enough that that kind of makes sense. We may have to unplug, plug back in. We'll try that too. In the meantime, we'll give you guys something to look at. So here's what we're seeing right now. Boothie was kind enough to send me a few extra photos behind the scenes. And it looks like we're kind of doing okay. That second photo helped a lot. Thank you, sir. So let's see. Do we get the scene back? No. That's unfortunate. I don't know why that's not playing nice today. Interesting. Yeah, we'll take the main camera for a second and then switch back to the desk camera. The Air Force fix for everything. Yeah, turn it back. Hey, so even at work now, right? The new tanker that I fly is the same way. It's so electronic that I have to basically turn it off, turn it back on, and that's how we solve a lot of the problems that we have for it. Yeah, it's like we lost the camera altogether. It won't even allow me to select the new camera. Interesting. I mean, we'll try to get it back here. Maybe I'll unplug it, plug it back in. So we got the face cam, that's good. And we have the overlays we need, but I don't have, for whatever reason, our main camera. So let's see if we can unplug that, plug that back in. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with the craziness. But for whatever reason, that is not working. All right, so we'll unplug and replug. We'll see how that goes. While we have a minute, we're getting close to time. May have to, in the stream, restart your whole system. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. If we're going to do that, I'd rather just end the stream and continue on. We're about the 2.5-hour mark right now anyway. There's still a lot to do just for this particular section. So this may end up being a part 3. We're going to give it the college try to make sure, but I think right now that's probably going to be it. Especially since we can't get it back. Yep, tracking. Steve build is in about 20 minutes. And with the issues that we're having, I think it makes sense to probably end here and pick up next week with a new part to this. So we've already got it scheduled. It's already on Sunday, same time. I'll do a better job at checking the workings of everything, and then hopefully we won't have the 20-minute audio issue that we had at the beginning of this stream. Hey, we got it back. Nice. So I'm just going to finish up this portion, and then we'll go ahead and end the stream in favor of Steve here in about 20 minutes. Okay. So looking at Booty's picture, I know you guys can't see it, but I really don't want to share my Discord. So I'm seeing like we have a wheel. This kind of goes this way. I'm seeing a gear with a bearing. Where'd it go? These guys. All right, so we have large gear bearing on top of that. And then I'm seeing kind of a rod this way with another bearing on top of. And I think these bearings are probably the ones that are in the housings. So I'll backtrack a bit. I want to say this goes, if I have a left and right, this goes this way through here. I have my wheel with a screw through it, and that actually does push through. So like so. I think that's how that goes. Is that what we're saying? Gear to the right. Okay, good so far. So like that, and then we put this on here like that, and then we have, yeah, your photo in the Discord is helping a lot. And then we have another bearing, and I think that's the other side, like so. And then you have the final wheel. So this screw needs to go all the way through. I've got like a whole mess going on here. Yeah, so I think drilling this out was probably the better call. I did not do that. I thought I did. I ran it through by hand. It seemed to work, but maybe I need to go like a 3.2 on the holes. So that will go that way. We have this one here, like so. And then we do the other wheel, this guy on the end. And like having so many moving pieces all at once, it would make sense to do this later. But that is grabbing through. But something like that is what we end up with. Now that makes sense. Having done that on the stream in real life, that's probably a little fiddly doing it this way. I would want to build the center portion and then put the wheels on last. But now that we know the gear, the big gear goes to the right, it'll go through the bearing here and then into the wheel, which is retained by a 60 millimeter screw in there. And then that will go into the, the nylock nut on this side. A little bit of elephant's foot? I don't think so. The holes that are on the parts were not on the bed, so I don't know that it's elephant's foot. I think maybe, I don't know how you printed your parts, if it was PETG or PLA, but these are ABS, and it probably shrunk a little bit, or I didn't have enough offset, hole offset in the slicer, if any. And so when I printed mine with ABS, it probably got really small. Correct, center frame first. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're just going to disassemble this. We're wrapping up anyway. Hole tolerance is tight. Yeah, if you're open to it, I would recommend maybe another 0.1. I don't know. Like with these particular parts on this machine, they don't just go through. You would have to chase all the holes. So maybe another 0.1, 0.2 would help them slide through easily. Not in all the parts. The axle was fine. With a little bit of push, it went through. It went through the gear as well. The wheels were the problem. They didn't want to go through without some finesse. So I have to end up screwing them. And actually, I don't know why I'm doing this, because I have this wow stick right here. Guess I'm just haven't added that to the workflow yet to use this wow stick. My wife got me this for, I think, my birthday last year, and I was so used to just doing it manually that I haven't put this into the workflow. More shrinkage due to the wheel size, yeah, for sure. It's a bigger part, but that's why this is experimental. I'm not going to reprint these parts, though, I'll tell you that. I'll probably just chase it with a slightly larger drill bit, and I'll do that 16 times, and we'll go from there. But I think we're going to wrap up the stream. We got a little bit long in the tooth here with the project, and I want to be respectful of Steve's time and his stream. So we're going to call it there. If you guys have any questions or comments or things that might help the stream, as we're going to do this again next week and hopefully be a little further along, my plan is to build the other two triggers, the other two extruders today while we watch Steve here at the house. And I'll do the wiring on the motors. So we'll get those wired up. We'll terminate all the wires so that they're easy to plug in. And then we'll get the spoolers built based on what we're seeing here in the manual. So we'll get through this portion of the manual. We will pick up on part 5 of the manual. And I think that's just like assembling things into the frame. So that is my plan for next week. Again, same time, same place. We'll be right here. It is Valentine's Day weekend, and it's a 4-day for us. So I will have Friday off, Saturday, all the way through Monday, which means I can have a little bit more time to prepare and get a little further and be more set up for you all when we do this again. So thanks all for coming out. All 9 of you are still here after almost 3 hours, and I appreciate that. See you, Lega Therapy. See you, Boothie. Appreciate you guys always coming out every week. Faithful, loyal viewers is much appreciated. So thank you guys. See you, 3D Wolf. See you, Rob. We'll see you guys on the internet. And whatever it is, we'll see you on the next one.